By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are back in New Jersey, America for the Goblin Hero Charity Cup, the second edition. And we're going to look at a round 6 match. This is the final round of the tournament. So basically, this is the final of the tournament. Whoever's going to win this match will win the cup. So is it going to be Nick, who is playing Triple Sage, or is it going to be Jason, who is playing Dib Bolt? I mean, both of these decks are tier 1 decks, very strong, very well known. So this is going to be a tight battle. I predict a tight battle. And just so you know, we are playing according to the Swedish rules today, meaning no mana burn, no fallen empires, 1 strip mine, and also proxies are allowed in this format. So be ready to see some funky proxies in this matchup. Now, before I start with the deck, I've got lovely deck photos of both of these decks. I would first like to tell you something about the Timmy Talks Patreon page. Aye, me hearties. If you would like to support the show, you can become a patron at patreon.com/TimmyTalks. We have 3 different patron levels. You can join as an apprentice for just $1 a month. And this will give you access to the Timmy Talks Discord, and you can join in on all the Timmy Talks online tournaments, such as the Color Clash and the Reprint Masters. You can also become a supporter at the Sorcerer level for just $2 a month. When you are a Sorcerer, your name will be mentioned in the end scroll, and if you want, you can play a game against, well, me. But there is more. If you become a supporter at the Pirate level, we can even make an episode together. Aye! Haha! You can also choose to pay annually for a 10% discount. So what are you waiting for, me hearty? Visit patreon.com/TimmyTalks and join the Timmy Talks crew. Arrgh! And we are back and ready to dive into the deck techs, and I'm going to start with the player on the left, that is Nick. Let's take a look at his deck, Triple Sage. And here we see the deck Triple Sage, and you're probably thinking, wait a minute, didn't I see this deck also in the previous match and the match before that? That's right, but this time we have a different pilot and also some slight changes as well, but it goes to show how good this deck is, right? Triple Sage is really a strong deck. It combines the best from the UW control deck with the robots deck. The UW robots deck merges those two together, and then you kind of get this mush of really good cards. I mean, don't expect to see the most original cards in the build, but hey, it's really good. I get it. You're in the finals, so you did a good job. If we take a look at this deck, so like I said, it's very similar to the other Triple Sage deck we saw. I think the biggest difference here is that we do see 3 copy artifacts, only 1 Serra Angel, only 1 Abyss in this. So those are kind of the slight, differences here in this deck. And I think what you want to do with this deck is, basically you have all the answers with blue and white, right? You've got your Swords to Plowshares, your Disenchants, your Balance if you're behind. And of course, you also have your counter magic and your blue power, and then you combine it with those copy artifacts to copy those Suchis. And then, of course, the Sages of Latinam are there as your card draw engine. They replace the DGM Day Tome. And also in this deck, by the way, is a single Fireball, to kind of finish the game off. We saw that in the other Triple Sage deck as well, by the way. I guess a single Fireball kind of makes sense. That way you always have a way out, out of nowhere you can get that Fireball. And I think what's good to know is all your silver bullets, because I like to call these cards silver bullets, that can just, turn a match around. They get better in the deck where you also play with Demonic Tutor. And of course, in this deck, Nick also plays with Demonic Tutor, the usual black splash, Demonic Tutor and Mind Twist. And then I guess 1 extra black card, and that's, of course, that Abyss. Abyss, of course, works quite well in this deck because you're playing with Suchis and with Mishra's Factories that are not affected. You are playing, of course, with Sage of Latinam and Serra Angel, so they are affected by the Abyss. However, I mean, you get to choose when you play out your Abyss. You get to use the strategy you want to use to make sure that you don't bite your own cards, of course. So I kind of understand the inclusion of that single Abyss main. Again, it's kind of like a silver bullet, and for the Abyss counts the same thing as that I said, for the Fireball or for a card like Balance or for a card like Mind Twist. They just get so much more accessible when you play with that single Demonic Tutor as well. So yeah, overall, very strong deck. Not surprised to see this in the finals. Now let's take a look at the opponent of Nick and what kind of deck he brought to the table. Let's take a look at Jason's list. And here we see the deck of Jason, Dib Bolt. And again, this is a very well-known tier 1 deck, right? You've got, again, your blue-white base, all those answers, but you combine this with aggression, right? We're seeing 4 Savannah Lions, 3 Surrender Befrieds, just 1 Serra Angel. And, most of these decks actually played a little bit more aggressive, but I guess The choice here that Jason has made is to say, you know what, I'm going to cut down, trim a little bit on the creature base. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more burn, because this is also a 12 bolt deck. 12 bolts refers to decks that play with 4 Psionic Blasts, 4 Lightning Bolts, and 4 Chain Lightnings. Guess what? They're all in here. On top of that, we also have that single Fireball that we also saw in Nick's list. So this is, in this matchup, definitely the aggressor. This is like a super aggressive list compared to the list that we earlier saw with Nick. And of course, there are no Suchis in this list. We do see the Suchis in the sideboard. So that's going to be interesting. Also a single copy of Copy Artifact in the side as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see the Suchis and Copy Artifact make an entrance after the first game. And that also depends whether or not Jason is going to see that Abyss. I think if he sees the Abyss in game 1, he's definitely going to board in the Artifact creatures, because of course they're immune to the Abyss. So yeah, this deck, I know it well. You see it in all, basically all the Swedish tournaments. It's a good deck, just like the Triple Sage deck, well-known deck, well-known tier 1 strategy. So this could be a very close match, you know, two decks that have had results in the Swedish format and now going face-to-face in the final. So who's going to win it, Nick or Jason? I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. And I guess we've discussed the deck, so that means one thing. We are ready. Let's go to round number 6, the finals of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup number 2. Game number 1 of round number 6 of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup, better known as the finals. These are the 2 best performing decks of today, and the winner is also going to win the tournament here. And Jason on the play, he's playing a line Dib Bolt, starting with a Mox Ruby and a Mox Pearl and a Lightning Bolt. There he goes, Nick to 17. Is he also going to have a land drop? We'll just have to wait and see. There's also a lot of light there, of course, in the middle of the table, but I'll try to keep you up to date about the cards that are there in that stream of light. And Jason here playing out a City of Brass, tapping the City and the Pearl. Oh, that's a balance. Oh, this is painful for Nick. Only 2 cards left in hand here for Jason, meaning Nick has to discard 5 cards. What an insane opening by Jason. Great start for him here of the finals. So he only gets to keep 2 cards. Really sweet sleeves, by the way, Nick. The Blue Hurricane, the famous Blue Hurricane. I would love to own one day, you know. That's a nice thing about collecting old school cards. There are also always these new goals that you try to get to. And here we see Nick discarding the 5 cards. Maybe you're wondering, hey, what's up with that Mox Jet? Remember, this is a tournament where proxies are allowed. But I have to say, Nick, that's a pretty beautiful proxy. Let me know in the comments below what the story is behind them. It looks like Dan Frazier made them here on the card for you. And we see Ravenna line, by the way, being played out by Jason. And now an Ancestral Recall by Nick. This is great for Nick. Gets him really back into this match. His hand's now back up to 5 cards. Really needed this Ancestral. And there we see a basic island and a Mox Emerald. Passing the turn back to Jason. Ooh, Jason has a factory there as well. So he's attacking with the factory and the line for 4. Gonna put Nick on 13. Nick finding another land. And passing the turn, it seems, on end step, Jason firing off a Lightning Bolt. That would put Nick on a 10, if it resolves, of course. Seems that Nick wants to counter this one, tapping 2 blue, changing his mind though. Okay, tapping again, yep, countering it with a mana drain. Protecting his life total here. And let's see what Jason can do. Animating again, attacking for 4. There's a disenchant, so only the line's going to get through. He's on 11. There's a Black Lotus being played out by Jason, but I believe Jason's hand's empty. And now, of course, he has that 1 mana from the mana drain, using it to play the Soul Ring. And there's a Suchi and a pass. Also, Nick's hand now empty. So Suchi on the side of Nick and a Ravenna lines on the side of Jason. Jason on 20, Nick on 11. The finals here of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup. There's the attack. Jason dropping to 16. That means that he can now attack with the lion. No, he can't, because there's the swords. So the lion's going to die. Jason's life total goes up to 13. And that means, yeah, Jason just passing 1 card in hand. There's the attack for 4. And actually, Jason here on 18, of course, not 13, but now taking 4 points of damage. So he is going to drop to 14. We see Nick playing out a Mishra's Factory. Yeah, Jason really in trouble here, because he's looking at 6 points of damage. There is a Bolt for the Factory. That's something. Still taking 4, drop to 10. Nick on 11 still. So things are looking up here for Nick. And what is that? That's an Abyss, playing out the Abyss here. Not really necessary to play out the Abyss. Perhaps I would have kept this information in hand. But the Abyss is on board. So one Suchi here for Nick. No creatures for Jason. Jason's turn. Both players in top deck mode. So I believe Jason has the one card that he just drew in his hand. It's going to be tough for him. He's on 10. So he has a couple of turns still before he dies. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. I like this. I think it's something you have to do, Jason. And Jason's thinking, should I tap for it? Or should I sack the Lotus for it? I would be tempted to go with Lotus. Because Lotus only makes one color of mana, right? So you can just go for 3 red and that's it. And then you still have all your duels to tap for maybe other colored mana that you may need. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you have used your Black Lotus here or just tap, for example, your Mox Ruby, Mox Pearl and one of the duels? That's, of course, also an option. Now let's see what Jason can do. Can he find, for example, a Disenchant for the Suchi? That would be quite nice. Of course, Nick can also draw 7 new cards. And we can see Jason here really taking a moment, understandably so. He knows he's on 10. That this could be a very important turn for him. And the thing with Wheel is, you know, okay, now you've got 7 cards, but your opponent has 7 new cards as well. So when your opponent's going to take his turn, it could be quite scary. So hopefully for Jason, he found some good stuff in there. He's going to sort the lands here. Putting the Mox Pearl and Ruby there on top of each other. Could that indicate perhaps a Disenchant on the Suchi? We'll just have to wait and see. It's going to tap. Ooh, he's going to tap 5. Could there be a Sarah Angel? Let's see what he can do. Oh, it's a Fireball. Going to play the Fireball here. And to the Dome, actually. Going to play it to the Dome. I like this. Very aggressive. And there's the Savannah line. So it's going to use the Savannah line as a chump blocker here to block the Suchi. Nick on a 7. And I mean, you know, Nick can attack, but the Abyss will also kill the Lion. But I guess he's just going to attack nonetheless. There we see a City of Brass, another Mox, a Mox Sapphire. Again, we have lots of glare. Hard to see the cards, but I'll keep you up to date here. There's a chump block with the Savannah lines. And then he's going to tap 2, perhaps a copy artifact on the Suchi. Going to untap again. Going to tap 2 again. Going to tap 4. 4 mana being tapped. Could there be just another Suchi? Going to untap again. Really in the tank here. Trying to find the best line here in the finals. Yep, another Suchi. 2 4/4s hitting the board. So next turn, Jason could be looking at 8 points of damage. There's another land for him. And the thing is here that balance is already in the graveyard. So that also makes it a little bit easier for Nick to commit more to the board. We see Jason here tapping 3. Okay, there's a Psionic Blast. So that could take care of one of the 2 Suchis. Nope, Counterspell though, countering away the Psionic Blast. And I guess, by the way, that the Psionic Blast was aimed at the life total of Nick probably. Going to put him on 3, right? That's what you want to do when you've got Jason's deck here playing with the 12 bolt strategy. Ooh, there's a Time Twister. Is it going to resolve? Nope. Oh, I think this was a very important counterspell by Nick. And then Nick dropping to 6, which is a little bit positive for Jason. If he can find double bolt, he can still win it. And I think he's going to get 1 more turn. Nick, of course, is going to attack you for 8. Jason dropping to 2. So next turn, it has to happen. He has to find that double bolt. And Nick here is going to tap 2 or more. I believe he's going to tap 2. And okay, there's a copy artifact. So going to copy the Suchi. I'm not sure if I would have done this. Maybe I would have kept it. It doesn't matter much, I think. My point more is like you don't need an extra Suchi to kill Jason next turn. But who knows? Maybe, I mean, Jason has 2 answers to 2 creatures. Then you still have your third one to win the game. There's something to be said for that, view as well. Let's see what Jason can do first. I mean, if I'm Nick, I wouldn't be so sure that you're going to win this because you're on 6. You know, if Jason has 2 bolts. Oh, no. Had 2 Psionic Blasts. And of course, the first Psionic Blast will kill Jason because he's only on 2. For a moment there, I thought, hey, Is he actually winning it still? 8 points of damage. Oh no, Psionic Blast is going to kill himself first. So Jason here needed a double bolt, but only found double Psionic Blast. So the first game here is going to Nick. Now both players are going to dive into their sideboards, and we will catch back up with them in game number 2. Game number 2 here of the finals of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup. And we've got Jason, of course, on the play after losing that first game. Let's see if both players want to keep. I believe Nick already took a mulligan here, so has to put one card on the bottom. Look at that, Jason doing the same. So Jason starting with 6. I believe Nick also starts with 6. Yeah, Nick also starting with 6. And Jason opening here. Look at that opening with an Ancestral Recall. Well, I mean, taking a mulligan doesn't feel that bad anymore if you have that Ancestral Recall in your second hand. This is ideal for Jason, passing the turn to Nick. Nick finding a Mishra's Factory there and passing back to Jason. And remember, Jason, of course, had that dream start in the first game, but still lost. So even a strong start doesn't mean you're going to win. Here we see a Chaos Orb. Pretty cool proxy here. So Nick playing the Orb. Quick disenchant though. So I guess the Orb is eating up a disenchant in this case. Jason untapping here. Did that on the end step of Nick. Going to take his third turn. There's a factory for him, and no Savannah Lions. Perhaps he boarded it out after he saw the Abyss. That could be the case. And look at that, Nick missing a land drop here. That went pretty quick, but he missed a land drop. That could be quite vital. Here we see a Suchi 4/4 creature hitting the board, so that comes in from the sideboard. Again, Nick passing, and Nick doesn't have white. And I think he needs white for disenchants to take care of the Suchi. Suchi attacking here, Nick dropping to 16. Jason here also missing a land drop, by the way, passing the turn. Looks like Nick has finally found a land, and that's a Tundra, so now he's got white mana again. Does that mean we're going to see a disenchant here, or perhaps a Swords? There's a Swords to Plowshares on the Suchi. Are we going to see a counterspell by Jason? Looks like it. The way he's organizing his lands here, going to tap both. And yep, that's a counterspell, going to counter. Oh, there's a red Elemental Blast countering the counterspell. Very important moment here for Nick, using that red Elemental Blast, another card from the sideboard. And that means it's bye-bye for the Suchi, 4 life here for Jason. He's going to go up to 24. Does mean now that Jason can attack with the Mishra's Factory here, because Nick no longer has the mana to animate his. So that's at least 2 extra points of damage. And Jason should, of course, here untap his 2 lands there on the right side, I believe. So attacked here. Okay, so I guess Nick played that card in the upkeep of Jason. Okay, that's smart. That's why those lands remained tapped. Here we see a Mox Ruby by Nick, by the way. And Nick just passing the turn. So 14 for Nick, 24 for Jason. Both players having 4 mana sources. Both players having 1 Mishra's Factory on the board. And look at that, Jason just passing the turn. Okay, there we see another proxy. This is a Black Lotus. Let's see what Nick can do with all that mana. He's going to tap 2 to start with. Oh, there's a balance. Only 3 cards in hand. And of course, he's got a land less. There we see a mana drain, though. So going to drain the balance. So the balance has been drained. And there we see a lightning bolt as well. So Nick dropping to 11. And of course, he's going to get 2 extra mana from that mana drain. There's another land. Does he have perhaps a Brain Geyser? Going to tap 1 blue. Okay, there's a Psionic Blast. There's another Psionic Blast. 8 points of damage here for Nick. And oh, there's a Bolt. Wow, is he dead? Because he's on 3. And now the Bolt is on the stack. What's going to happen? He's going to animate? No, what's he going to do? Okay, he's going to Swords his own factory, right, to gain 3 lives. He's going to stay on 3. So he's not dead yet. Wow, for a moment there I thought Jason had it, but he's not dead yet. Nick is still around. Playing out the Suchi, passing the turn here back to Nick. But yeah, Nick very close, of course, to victory. Going to tap 4. Is he going to find a Suchi of his own? Oh, what is this? I guess it's a Steel Artifact. I can't really identify that card, but looking at what's happening on the board, I guess a Steel Artifact or a Control Magic. For some reason, it looks a little bit like a Steel Artifact, but yeah, I don't know. No idea what card that is, but it's a steel artifact or a control magic, one or the other. And Nick here playing out an Ancestral Recall. That's a pretty good card to find. But look at that, a red Elemental Blast by Jason. Perfect timing by Jason. Not allowing Nick to get back from this. And Nick is picking up the card. So that means that game number 2 here is being won by Jason. And that makes me a happy man. Why? Because it means we have a game 3 in the finals. Woohoo! Game number 3. Here we go. So it's 1-1. And I believe that Nick is on the play here. With his triple Sage deck, here we see Jason taking a mulligan. So going to start with a card less here. Looks like he's not has not decided yet. Yes, he has. I'm liking your sleeves, by the way, Jason. Is that you on the sleeve? Let me know the story behind it. Here we see Nick opening with a Sage of Latnam. Remember, he is playing triple Sage, so 3 Sages in there. Finally, we see one. There's a Soul Ring being played out by Jason and a City of Brass. And I wonder if he's going to fire off a Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning there on the Sage. I mean, my advice is if you have it, kill that creature on sight. That's what I would do. Before it starts to produce a value here for Nick. And yeah, that's exactly what he does. Chain Lightning here on the Sage of Latnam, of course, taking damage himself from the City of Brass. So killing the Sage here. And there we see an Underground Sea, tapping 2. And okay, there's a Demonic. And he's going to tap the blue already. So I assume he's going to go for Ancestral Recall here. Because he already tapped the Sapphire. Going to go through the deck. Yep, there we see the Ancestral Recall. There's, of course, the Shuffle first by Nick. And then he's going to draw 3 cards. So pretty sweet start for Nick here. And I wonder if Jason can, like, for example, deploy a Suchi next turn or put some pressure on Nick. But first, of course, Nick's going to draw the 3 cards, offering Jason here to cut the deck. With Jason's fine with it, though. Very friendly atmosphere here at the Goblin Hero Cup, as it should be in old school. And Jason drawing a card for turn. Let's see what he can do. Knowing, of course, that next turn Nick can, Nick can start the turn with a full hand after that Ancestral Recall. Oh, this is smart. Time Twister. I like it. Also, Nick is tapped out. Nothing he can do against it. I'm liking this play, Jason. Very clever. So both players, again, are going to shuffle and draw 7 new cards. Very sweet. Always a fan of draw 7s. We also, of course, saw that in the previous game with that Wheel of Fortune. So both players shuffling here, going to draw a fresh 7. And so far, this has been a very interesting matchup between both decks. There's not really a favorite. One could say that maybe Nick's the favorite because he's the one that was on the play here for the third and decisive game. But I don't think it matters that much here in this particular matchup. So both players going to draw their 7. And of course, it's still Jason's turn. He can still play a land. Let's see what he's going to do. Going to play a City of Brass, signed by Mark Tedden, it seems. That's a Shadow signature, I believe. Really nice guy, by the way, Mark. Very relaxed, at least when I met him. In Amsterdam last year. It's going to tap 2, take another damage, going to drop to 17. What are we going to see? Okay, there's a Chaos Orb, passing the turn. So Chaos Orb on the board. Are we going to see maybe a Plains and then a Disenchant? We're going to see a City of Brass here, being played out by Nick. With the Juzam Jin on it, it seems. Nice altar. It's going to tap 2, take a damage, drop to 19. Yep, there's the Disenchant. So taking care of the Chaos Orb. And talking about altars, of course, that Disenchant also altered. Looks like it's altered on a blank card, or maybe it's an artist-proof Disenchant. Let me know, Nick, in the comments below. And let's first see what Jason can do. Having 5 mana there available. Going to tap 2, going to take another damage. And okay, there's a demonic. So now he found his demonic. Is he also going to go for an Ancestral Recall? That is the question. Could also go for Mind Twist, try to twist right away for 2 or wait a turn and twist next turn. But it is risky, of course, if Nick then has Counter Magic. Talking about Counter Magic, Nick does have 2 blue open, right? Underground Sea untapped and that Mox Sapphire untapped. Jason could also go for a Library of Alexandria here because I believe he's got, is that 5 cards in hand or 6 cards in hand? Maybe 5. If it were 6, you could consider going for Loa. The nice thing about Loa is that it cannot be countered. So then you can just play it out and try to get up to 7 and then you've got your card draw engine going. And that has actually happened to me a while ago. And somebody played Demonic. I'm like, I'm not going to counter the Demonic. I'm going to counter whatever he's going to play next. That was a bad decision because he looked up a Library of Alexandria and the turn after that, the Loa became online. I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. Anyway, here we see a Volcanic Island being played out by Jason. Passing the turn here back to Nick. So Nick gonna draw for turn. Let's see what he can do. I mean, both players having a lot of cards, of course, after that Time Twister. There we see a Volcanic Island for Nick as well. Going to tap the Underground Sea and the Sapphire. Oh, look at that. Of course, the Demonic got back into the deck after the Time Twister. So also Nick here playing out his Demonic a second time. I mean, is he going to look up the Ancestral Recall again? He can just play it out for the second time. That's pretty cool. Going to go through the deck. And again, I mean, Time Twister is, Mind Twist is also an option. Changing his mind here, putting the card back. Looking at the hand. Ooh, he's seriously in the tank. I wonder what his options are. Maybe he's looking for something more like funky than just an Ancestral Recall or a Mind Twist. Maybe he's got a good plan. That would be really sweet. I always love to be surprised by decisions that players make. I mean, yes, it's reassuring when they do what you think they should do because then I guess you're right, maybe. But it's always sweet when they do something else, especially players in a final because, you know, they made it to the final. So I guess they're pretty good. So it always makes you think, okay, why does she make that decision? And again, by the way, Nick's still figuring out what card to pick up. Shuffling now again. There's a Lightning Bolt by Nick. Maybe because he's tired of waiting. He's like, dude, I'm just going to deal 3. That'll teach you. But this is an interesting moment to play out the Bolt. That would put Nick on 16. So he's going to go to 16. And there's the pass. So Nick not playing out his card yet. Just passing the turn here to Jason. Maybe he looked up a counterspell. And now we see Jason here going through his hand. And I believe he's got a Red Elemental Blast in there and a Fireball. That's a nice combination if you can make like a big Fireball. Not now, of course, but in the future. And then have your Red Elemental Blast as a backup to protect the Fireball. That could be a nice play. But first, let's see what Jason's going to do here. I mean, I don't expect him to play out that Fireball this turn. He's going to tap 3. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. That explains the Lightning Bolt. There's a mana drain, though. Mana drain here on the wheel. And now we're going to see that Red Elemental Blast, right? Red Elemental Blast countering the drain. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Ancestral Recall gone, right? So he did look up the Recall. Oh, this is so funny. Both players really trying to read each other and predict each other's moves. Doing quite well in that department. So Jason protecting the wheel with that Red Elemental Blast, drawing 7 new ones before Nick can take advantage of his Ancestral Recall. There's a Suchi being played by Jason and a pass turn. So Jason on 14, Nick on 15. Game number 3, the big decider. The winner of this game will be the winner of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup number 2. Oh, Library of Alexandria. Wow. It's a good card for Nick. Yeah, first draw a card before you play anything else out. First draw card number 8. And then maybe disenchant that Suchi. Okay, there we see the Black Lotus. And I believe, by the way, that there were 30, but 45 players. I want to say 35, but it's 45. 45 players playing today here at the Goblin Hero Charity Cup. And I believe that's more than double than last year. And there we see another Suchi hitting the board, but this time on the side of Nick. So both players here having a Suchi. And now the question is, does Jason want to trade? I think if you're Jason, you want to attack here because he's got the more aggressive deck, with the 12 Bolt strategy. So I think I would just go in, see what he does. First he's going to play a land. Fair enough. Or does he have Divine Offering or Disenchant here to kill the Suchi? Ooh, he's got a copy artifact. Okay, so he's going to copy 2 Suchis now on the board for him. And then he's going to attack here with his Suchi. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. Difficult moment here for Nick, but he doesn't have to think long. He's going to block and make the trade. Both players losing the Suchi, but of course Jason still has one. Ooh, couldn't really see. Okay, that was a lightning bolt. That went quite fast, but that was a bolt. So that means Nick now on 12. Jason is getting closer and closer to the finish line. Another Suchi. Passing the turn. I mean, Nick still has the active Loa, so I mean, he's got the card advantage, but the pressure is on. He's on 12, looking at 2 Suchis. Only has that Mishra's Factory as a potential blocker. But I mean, he's got so many cards, probably he's got an answer in his hand. 7 cards now after he played out the land. I mean, I think I saw swords in there, at least one. It's going to tap the Sapphire and the Sea. Are we first going to see a copy artifact? Perhaps there's a copy artifact. So also going to copy the Suchi. Then he's got 6 in hand, I believe. And so I wonder if he wants to play out another spell. Looks like it. He's going to tap 2. And he's going to sack the Lotus. Are we going to see a Sarah Angel? Sarah Angel there. So Sarah Angel hitting the board and a Suchi. I mean, I think if I'm Jason, exactly, I would just attack with both. Make it difficult here. And there we see a Swords to Plowshares on one of the Suchis, and he's going to trade for the other. And the silver lining here, at least for Jason, is that now Nick is really playing out a big chunk of his hand, so the Loa is now offline again. And Jason goes for life up again, so he's now on 18. There we see a Mox Jet. There's a scrub land, but just a pass though. So good news for Nick. He can now attack for 6 if he wants to. Then he would put Jason on 12. Animating the factory. Attacking for 6. Exactly. Jason dropping to 12. I think that's accurate. Okay, there we see a lightning bolt. Okay, a lightning bolt on a factory. In that case, he only takes 4, so he's on 14. But yeah, that's good news for Nick. As soon as those aggressive players, start aiming their direct damage, not at your life total, but at your creatures, it's going well. Here we see a chain lightning, by the way. So, and this one is going to the life total of Nick. Nick dropping to 9. There's the attack with the Angel. Yeah, I mean, 4 points of damage a turn. That can go quite fast. And Jason in top decking mode, finding a Mishra's Factory. That's not great for him. He's going to drop to 6 now. 2 more turns, it seems. There's a COP red. Ooh, painful. But first point of business here for Jason is trying to get rid of that Sarah Angel. Remember, this is game 3 and Nick is so close to the victory here. Oh, there's a Psionic Blast. Okay. So he can now kill the Angel with the Psionic Blast. Will it resolve? That's the big question. Psionic Blast here on the stack. Are we going to see a counterspell? That's the question. No, we're not. Okay, Sarah's going to die. Jason's going to drop here to 4. Animating the factory, attacking here. Going to put Nick on 7. Or not, no, because we see a disenchant here. Taking care of the factory. And I mean, look at the amount of cards that Nick has. It's just insane. Jason's top decking. Nick has what? 4 cards in hand now after the strip mine. Gonna tap 4. Oh, Sarah Angel on the board. Another Altered Sarah. 4/4 flyer, so that can finish the job. Jason passing the turn. Is Nick gonna win the Goblin Hero Charity Cup? And yes, he is our winner! Congratulations, Nick. And here we see Nick, the winner of the Goblin Hero Charity Cup number 2. And maybe it's now nice also to mention that they raised over $5,500 for a charity that helps children with cancer. So, I mean, that's of course a great achievement. And I also would like to thank here, by the way, we see a picture of all the players and the whole Goblin Hero community. And I would also like to thank Jonathan. Jonathan, thank you so much for again sending me these matches from your tournament, man. It looks great. And I wish to one day come and visit. I mean, playing Magic in the States is still on my to-do list. And yeah, it's for the future. But for now, thank you very much for sending these matches. And also a big thank you to all the players. Thank you for showing your skills. It's been absolute fun to watch you guys play. And I love it, man. It looks like you've got a great community there. So just keep it up. Keep slinging those old school spells. And for now, thank you very much for watching. Before you go, please take a moment to like, share, and comment on this video. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. And talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron, of course. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information. And maybe then when you become a patron, maybe we'll play a match of old school together and make an episode together. Who knows? See you soon.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, pull out the plug and wet him all over, pull out the plug and wet him all over, pull out the plug and wet him all over. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put him in the scoundrel, 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 put him in the scoundrel. Early in the morning, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises. Early in the morning.
Igitus figitus sumba kazee.